Yeah, basically, yeah. Mm. I try so hard, and na na nee, and na 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 nee, nee, na na.
Right. Okay.
That was a tough movie. They're still recording, by the way.
Is it
Still recording. Yeah.
right? So that's recording there. That's
Yeah, it's
recording
recording. Everything is recording.
there. Excellent. Okay. Shall we start this off then?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Hello, one and all. My name's John Clare. This is
Roman Puech.
and this is the Post Watch Post Mortem. Today's film, I believe it's only just come up on Netflix. Hence why we decided it might be a good idea to watch it. Cause
It's been released for a while. Like it's
2013.
2013. Yeah,
It's an old film. Relatively speaking, it's a decade old at this point.
Decade, yeah.
But I've never seen it before. Have you seen it before?
Never heard. It's first time I'm seeing it. It was both first time viewing this movie,
Okay, so the movie we're talking about is a film called Prisoners, directed by Denis Villeneuve,
starring
starring Jack Gyllenhaal,
Hugh Jackman.
Hugh Jackman. What's his face from right the first time, man? Terrence Howard, Viola Davis.
You know her from Suicide Squad.
Yeah, you got Paul Dano, who's in it as well.
You know her. You know him from
There Will Be Blood.
There Will Be Blood, and
Yeah,
you know him as well for.
He's in the Joker, isn't
It's
he?
very good. He's very
the
good
Riddler.
actor. The Riddler, yeah.
Yeah.
And you know him as well if you know Little Miss Sunshine as well.
He's been around a bit. His old Paul Dano, but yeah,
great actor.
Great actor. I mean, generally speaking, a pretty strong cast. Obviously with Denis Villeneuve. I think this is one of his earlier movies, isn't it?
No. It's basically it's one of these is one of his first mainstream movies.
Right, okay.
He did a few. I think he did a few comedy movies. I don't know by heart the filmography of Denis Villeneuve. I know. I know he's a very good director.
Yeah. I'm just going to bring it up here now quickly.
Denis Villeneuve.
Denis Villeneuve, known for June, Blade Runner, Arrival, Incendies.
Incendie.
What does that mean?
It's incendie is fire, and incendie.
Oh, it's incendiary.
Incendiary. Yeah.
Okay.
Incendie. So is it writing in French, or maybe he's a French?
So Sicario,
Sicario,
Enemy.
yeah, you know, Enemy.
Rated.
Enemy is another one we need to watch as well.
Oh yeah. Okay, cool. I've never heard of it. Polytechnique, Next Floor, Happiness Bounds.
Basically, look, is a movie started with Prisoner. That's his international career. That's a movie that started his international career.
Right. So before that was all just kind of like
Canadian or maybe French or small movies, basically. Yeah.
So anyway, but yeah, I've seen the films I've seen of his so far from his catalogue. I've seen June. I've seen Blade Runner 2049.
You've seen Sicario.
Sicario and Arrival. This is the first. So I have never. This is the first time I've ever seen Prisoners.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
Very dark film.
Oh, very dark. Yeah.
Oh bloody hell of a dark film.
If you like thriller or like
yeah, it's good. Definitely got like one of those
mystery,
kind of vibes.
Mystery, yeah.
I thought it was quite an interesting film. I mean,
a bit in the range of Zodiac or
yeah.
The style do like this very dark. There's not a lot of score. It's very very claustrophobic and very very dirty. So like it reminds me a bit of Zodiac.
Yeah. I also like there was actually a motif. I don't know if you spotted it. I'd be surprised if you didn't. But have you noticed there was like a lot of shots taken from either outside or inside of windows that were partially obscured, usually through rain, but sometimes dirty.
Yeah, doorway. There's a framing was by using windows and doors and everything.
Yeah, windows. Yeah, I mean that's a common trait, but the one slight kind of. It's like like the windows for whatever reason were obscured. It was most evident at the end when Jake Gyllenhaal's character was trying to rescue the girl when he's driving through traffic and he's got blood streaming down his face and he's driving through the rain. You can't really see all the cars in front of him, so he's swerving in and out of traffic. But generally speaking, like there's a lot of this whole thing about like vision being obscured. And I think that's kind of related back to...
Also, it's vision being obscured. You see with the character of the father,
yeah.
his vision is being obscured.
Yeah,
he cannot see any clue in front of him.
Yeah.
Because he think that's the first clue was the man in the van.
Yeah. And basically, like, so he couldn't
see the big picture.
Yeah. So he couldn't see the big picture. He was so focused on one detail that it led him down a rabbit hole that he couldn't literally let him down a rabbit hole.
Yeah, rabbit hole.
Because that's where he ended up in the hole. But yeah, I think this film's quite cool. I mean, I mean, if you were to give ratings for it or anything like that, well, I probably would score it about high sevens, low eights.
Yeah, it's a good, like it's a technically very brilliant movie. Some little detail of photography, for example, like it doesn't seem much, but for example, you know when the guy is inside of the shower and there's only these eyes that we see, his eyes, like his eyes, and his eyes is on the basically. Rule third is on the corner right of the screen, and the next shot you can see a car, and it's coming out of the car from the corner right of the screen. It's like stupidly basic, but basically you can see in the Villeneuve movie the next shot is think about this shot. It's not like, oh, we put this there or we put this there. So you know what? Look. We left from the corner of the screen right. That's where the focus was because everything was black and you can see all his eyes. And the next shot, it was his car coming from the street and the corner and on the top corner right of the screen. Just some little things like that. Is Denis Villeneuve, or maybe this is a photography director, but I can see Denis Villeneuve is a bit like Nolan. He has he has a bit of is Nolan kind of a movie as well with Arrival.
Yeah.
Where basically you shown a part of the beginning of the movie you think is the beginning.
Yeah.
But it's actually the end. They show you the end.
Yeah.
No. They show you the end.
Right.
And you think that's the beginning of the story.
Right.
And later on, you realize that's actually the end of the story.
And the rest of the story is actually working up to that point.
A little bit of a Nolan kind of. I don't say it's copying Nolan, but like it's the playing with time. And what I'm saying, he has this same kind of, technicity about this movie that he I think he's like very involved into it. I'm rambling nonsense. I think.
No. You got a point there. I mean,
it's shot as think of her like.
It's a very well thought out movie. It's a very technical, well thought out movie. Some great performances. I mean, Hugh Jackman, fucking hell, man, tour de force. He was really good in this.
What's the name of the guy from the first Iron Man? Is Terrence
Howard.
Do you know when the hammer scene? Do you know he was real frightened? No, I think one of the two actor, one of the trivia, it was real frightened by Hugh Jackman.
Well, yeah, because that's the thing. Because like that hammer,
it was a real hammer.
Well, the thing is, like,
and it was like smashing. Like
the thing is, I used to use that hammer at work. I used to work in construction, and that's an East Wing hammer. That's a 24-ounce East Wing hammer.
Ooh,
and I've never tried to smash someone's face in with one, but I've hit my fingers a few times with that fucking thing, and it hurts. I can tell you that
much.
It's
like a heavy duty.
It's a solid steel hammer. If that goes through something, the thing it's going to make a mess of it.
The thing break before the hammer do.
Oh yeah. I mean, those things are beefy things. So so when he was like when he was smashing the sink up and
next to his finger,
he was doing it as a form of intimidation. Like, tell me what my door. He was like he smashed up the sink and he put a hole in. Yeah, that isn't because like the sink was made of plaster. That sink was made of ceramic.
It was a real sink. It was a
real sink that got smashed up by a very real hammer. So
and I think the frighten of one of the two actors or maybe both was real.
I'd say it was real.
It was real.
Absolutely. And not only that, you got to bear in mind, like, again, the things with Hugh Jackman's character in this. I mean, he plays the father of basically he plays the father of one of two girls that go missing. Terrence Howard plays the other father, and Viola Davis plays the mother of one of the daughters, and a girl called Maria Bello, who I'm not familiar with, but she was quite good in this as well. They play the mother anyway. They're having a very typically American Thanksgiving dinner at the start of the movie.
Yeah, the father is a prepper like hunter prepper.
There's that initial scene at the start of the movie where basically he's Hugh Jackman's character. He takes his son out hunting, and he's actually saying a prayer as he shoots.
Before he shoots, his son shoots the deer.
Yeah,
this is the worst way to hunt because you're just talking. You should be. Maybe he's not. Maybe
there's symbolism though.
Maybe he was not talking, but that's maybe his voiceover. You don't know, maybe.
No, he was.
He was talking.
Praying. Yeah, no, he was praying.
He was praying before he shoot the deer, which I think is a pretty like
bit heavy-handed.
No, not heavy-handed. I'd say it's like he respects. It doesn't. It shows that the character won't kill for killing.
Yeah, he'll kill for sustenance because
he'll kill for sustenance. And he will ask forgiveness to God before he do anything.
Yeah.
So you see the character
Because he's a very religious character.
It's an extremely religious character, and basically he will ask for kidnap before he'll do anything. And there's also that thing that basically the main bad guy of the thing were killing kids for to hunt those monsters. Basically, they would what she said, like nothing
to go to war against God or something.
To go against God. Like, so they were Satanists or like not Satanists, but like anti-religion or
basically, what is it? The child died of cancer, and they just said afterwards, "Fuck God" or whatever. They lost their religion. But yeah, I mean, it's quite an interesting film. It's very, there's a lot of subtext. There's a lot of religious subtext there as well.
The snakes, the
snakes, the whole thing about the maze as well. The whole thing
was not a maze. It was
there's that iconography of the maze that goes throughout the movie.
They asked the kid to finish the maze and stuff like that.
Yeah,
no, it's it's a fucked up movie. Also, like it kind of play a little bit with like your like did you suspect that the aunt was the bad guy?
Oh, plays with your expectations, you mean?
Yeah, did you expect that was her?
Not initially. No.
Unsuspectable.
Yeah.
The very nice old lady.
Well, that's the thing, though. I mean, you could kind of believe Paul Dano, because Paul Dano's character is a bit simple, and I mean he's a bit,
he does look like the crazy. Also, he played a lot of evil guy in the past. So it was good to cast him because you used to see him as a bad guy.
Yeah, it kind of almost like
like use a psychopath or do like a evil dude,
Yeah, I mean but yeah, he's an interesting character. He seems to pick very interesting roles, does Paul Dano.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think it's the religious iconography I found quite interesting. There was not iconography, but there's a huge subtext with religion. Especially with Christianity, because like America, has a very kind of sizable Christian contingent. I mean, I was born and raised a Catholic, but I'm not exactly what you call an avid.
I'm born and raised Catholic no, my family are not Catholic, but like Catholic culture, like I've been baptized and everything.
Okay,
but we're not like going to church every week or stuff like that.
Yeah, well, things like don't get me wrong. I did my kind of baptism, confirmation, and all that business. First Holy Communion, but I remember at the age of 8, like sitting down in a church, right, while I was at my first Holy Communion, in the back of my prayer book, writing 100 people don't believe in God. Make of that what you will. I'm not a very religious person myself, but I find the whole kind of subtext with religion quite interesting in this film. I mean, also I happen to love religious iconography because one of the reasons why I'm into art is.
But like religion is more part of the character of the father.
Oh yeah, very much.
Jackman.
It's like, for instance, like the one thing I found quite interesting. When because he says the Our Father prayer when he's Paul Dano's character is trapped at this point. Basically, what they've done is they, at one point, because Hugh Jackman's character has inherited this house that's completely run down. Well, not a house, more of a building, like an apartment complex.
An apartment complex, yeah.
Yeah, so he basically kidnaps Paul Dano's character at one point.
Have you seen this mimic completely the priest house? Do you know when the character of what's his name again?
Jake Gyllenhaal.
What's his name?
Jake Gyllenhaal.
Jake Gyllenhaal arrived to this apartment building.
Yeah.
He found Hugh Jackman character laying on the floor, drunk, pretending to be drunk, and he mirrors completely the scene.
Oh yes,
when he was in the church.
And when he found out it was more going on,
he looked a little bit forward, and he found at the priest's house. He looked a little bit forward where the fridge was. Basically, the fridge was moved, and you can see that the fridge was being moved
quite a lot.
Quite a lot.
Yeah.
Quite a lot.
Well, frequently.
And he find the body of the cult leader. Is it a cult leader or more like a?
Well, basically, it's like
the uncle of or the husband of the bad guy. Yeah.
The bad woman. Yeah, basically. I mean, like, they were part of a cult that used to go around killing kids.
Yeah, and it was like he went to the church to confess to this priest because he said, I killed 15 kids and stuff like that. We're taking them in broad daylight.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. It was basically
bragging about it.
Not bragging about it, just like...
No, the priest said bragging about it.
Bragging about it.
He did actually say that. Those words, I am speaking kind of verbatim here. He turns around and goes, yeah, we took him they took him in broad daylight. He bragged about it. but basically you don't see him for the rest of the film then because
it was dismissed, but of course no.
He was probably carted away to fucking prison because he kept a dead body down there for years. But the dead body of a child killer. So
it was like also he was taped and
the rare time a Catholic priest could actually done something right by children.
And do you know why? Do you know how he went to the priest? Because he looked for every sex offender in the thing.
Catholic priests.
No.
Bad reputation.
Because of
deservedly so.
If there is no sex offender in the region, he would have never find the priest thing. If the priest was not a sex offender, he would have never find the kids.
Yeah. Interesting. Well spotted.
Thank you, sex offenders. No, I'm joking. But you know that theory that I'm joking.
Mate, do you know how quickly we end up getting cancelled? We don't get cancelled before we get fucking started,
There's a comedian that say like, if you want to protect a kid from the shooting and stuff like that, send kids offender to defend schools. At least they will die for what they loved. They will die protecting what they love. Oh my god.
Mate, this has gone off the fucking rails fairly quick.
It's very dark. But yeah, while he was looking for all those sex offenders, they went to the priest's house and realized that the priest was lying down on the ground. So by emergency, he's a policeman. He see a man like lying down on the kitchen. It's like fuck, he just like had a heart attack or he's just like dying or something like that. So
turns out he's just
went to save him, and he was just fucking drunk, bottled like lying
snoring very deeply.
And that's how they found the first clue. That wasn't the clue. Basically, they show you that scene, and they say like the scene as basically. You can think that, of course, if they show you that scene, it's related to the end of the movie.
Yeah.
But for him, he will have. For the character, it's not related whatsoever. But it was the clue to find the kids.
Yeah. I find it interesting as well because I don't think this is one of these movies. Sometimes with mystery movies, they try to be a bit too fucking clever for their own goddamn good. I mean, like you could say with Walter Mitty last week. I mean, don't get me wrong, we both enjoyed Walter Mitty immensely, but you could argue that sometimes it's a bit too clever for its own fucking good. This movie doesn't do that. Basically, like the mystery gets unraveled as the characters, Jake Gyllenhaal is the audience through line. He's the character that's got to piece all this together. Because you can't rely on Hugh Jackman's character. Because Hugh Jackman's character is
flawed. Down. It's completely flawed.
Yeah, he's gone completely fucking psycho for understandable reasons. His daughter's gone missing.
And his wife is falling to pieces, and
he's putting a lot of pressure on his son to be the man of the house. And at the age of 15, there's very few people at that age that are ready to take on that level of responsibility, and it's a lot to ask of him. He's asking too much of him almost. But so Jake Gyllenhaal, he's the audience through line. We're basically with him on this journey. He's the detective. He's got to figure this shit out. So we've got, as the audience, we're there to figure it out along with him. Mm-hmm. And, I think, so I like how the story kind of unravels itself in a very kind of, I'd say quite a logical way. Do you know what I mean? It does make sense. There's no, there's no extraneous clues. There's no one trying to trip you up and trying to fucking lead you down the wrong path.
Basically, there's clues that you think are like mislead, but actually clues.
Yeah, it's not so much that. It's like, yeah, you can make mistakes because, like, again, you can't rely, because, like, Hugh Jackman's character is absolutely convinced very much from the early.
That he knows. No, he knows where they are. Jackman's character actually is right. He knows where they are.
Yeah, but the thing is, he went down a rabbit hole of assuming, or at least initially, and for the most part, and that he was responsible directly for their kidnapping, and as a result.
He was responsible for the kidnapping. He brought them there, and the aunt chose them to keep them. Like, he is responsible for those.
Okay. Fair point.
Hugh Jackman, the character, is right. They're both right.
Yeah, but the thing is, like,
they both follow leads. That's right, actually.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, but again, like Hugh Jackman's character goes about it completely fucking wrong.
No, because he doesn't see the big picture.
No, how can he?
No, you cannot. His
You
daughter has
can't.
been taken.
Exactly. It's a it's an abhorrent thing to happen to anybody. I mean, in real life, when of course, like when you see stuff in like local news or anything like that, when children go missing, it's heartbreaking.
The character of Jake
Jake Gyllenhaal.
Gyllenhaal. Can you see?
Is it Gyllenhaal?
Gyllenhaal. Gyllenhaal.
Gyllenhaal. Just say Gyllenhaal.
Gyllenhaal. Okay. Like most luckiest detective alive.
Well, to be honest with you, like, you got to bear in mind. Again, this is a movie. I mean,
I know it's a movie.
It's a 2.5 hour.
Luckiest.
Yeah, I know. And the thing is, like, there are a few peculiarities with it. He doesn't have a partner. There isn't like a whole squad behind him. It seems like his police chief is against him all the way, and
that's a classic. That's a
yeah.
classic.
He's the kind of the renegade that gets things done.
Like you cannot do that on your own.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Like, and there's even a brief mention of like department budgets and all that sort of shit. You know, like they do in every Lethal Weapon movie when they start blowing shit up. Yeah, basically, there's a little like hint towards, departmental budgets. Thankfully, it doesn't go on for very long. It's literally one throwaway line, but yeah, it's like there is that kind of like. There is a kind of hyper reality to it. Of course there is, because it's a movie and because they're trying to tell a story in a set length of time. And again, with Jake Gyllenhaal's detective character, what's the character's name? Let me just have a quick gander.
Loki.
Oh, Detective Loki. Oh, of course. That's the thing. I'm a huge Norse mythology nut, so I did raise a smile when they started calling him Detective Loki. I was like, "Oh, what mischief is this man got to conjure?"
No, he has his tattoos. He has his star tattoo thing.
Yeah, and he's got the zodiac signs on his finger.
No, he doesn't have the zodiac sign.
They are zodiac signs.
Oh, they're zodiac signs.
Yes.
So was it like?
I couldn't tell. I couldn't make out which ones.
That's character building, but you're not sure like why. Why you would have tattoos stuff like that. So maybe like you come from like a rough part of the neighborhood or stuff like that.
Who knows?
Who knows? There's a lot of things that's not talked about, pretty much.
Well, that's the thing. Is like again, show don't tell, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Sometimes sometimes you can't have everything fucking explained to you, or when movies or when any kind of storytelling medium tries to do that, it's usually just. Oh, well, do you fucking just leave something to the imagination, for fuck's sake? Mm-hmm. But, I do appreciate the fact that, they left those little details there for you to, if you want to read into it, you can. If you don't have to.
Also, we can't have like a Christopher Nolan Inception ending, to be fair. Like, it was like left there, like...
What, the cliffhanger?
The cliffhanger, yeah.
Yeah, well, like when Cobb spins the fucking yoke in Inception at the end.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you're not sure if it's real or not.
That's right.
Like, in the movie, you're not sure if the father is saved or not. I think he is, because you know what they said at the beginning of the movie? He never like...
he's always prepared.
He always, the character of Jake, always, the character of Loki, always solve all his cases.
That's right, yeah.
He always solved these cases.
Yeah, that's another bit of a movie trope as well, isn't it?
He's the best detective we got.
He's the best one on the force, but he doesn't do things quite by the rules.
Nah,
all that sort of cheesy nonsense. But again, it's done tastefully and it's done well here, though. It uses those tropes quite heavily, but
and like. Two people was expecting that the old lady, the aunt was the bad guy from the beginning.
Not maybe from the beginning, but I'd say like the clues would, I suppose it's one of those things. If you paid attention from the start, or if we were to rewatch it, we'd probably be able to pick up on those clues a lot earlier. Because that's the things. Like that's why a lot of those sorts of films, I don't like the time demand rewatching, but it's worth probably watching them again. It's like, for instance, when I first watched. What's the name of the fucking film? The lineup. Oh, good God! How can I not know this? It used to be one of my favourite movies. Oh, for fuck's sake! It's got Kevin Spacey in it. When he plays, he's the bad guy. He plays Verbal.
Usual Suspect.
Usual Suspects.
Usual Suspect.
Right. Do you remember like when you first watched Usual Suspects? Mm-hmm. Right. Did you spot it was Verbal from the beginning?
What do you mean? It was Verbal?
That Verbal, like the Kevin Spacey's character, the Verbal, was the big bad guy. He was Kaiser Sose. Did you spot that from the start? Did you spot that from the beginning?
No, maybe I don't know. I watched it once, but like I find it ruined to watch it twice. But like, I don't know. I don't think I spotted it immediately.
Well, I know. Well, I first watched it when I was, I think, 15 or 16, way back when in the 1990s, the darkest depths of time. When I first watched it, I didn't twig it until right at the very end.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
And then when you watch it back again, then it becomes more apparent. Do you know what I mean? And I think this is one of those films where, like, if you watch it back again, whereas it doesn't have the same kind of singular twist right at the very end, it does have, you know, it done M. Night Shyamalan before M. Night Shyamalan, basically. But what I like about this one is, like, yeah, it slowly unravels its mysteries, and you find out alongside it's almost like, you know, with the fact that he doesn't have a partner, maybe in a way the audience is the partner. Maybe there's a slight meta-ness about it. I could be reading way too much into it, but that's what I maybe kind of believe, that he's the partner. You know, you're supposed to be figuring out alongside him.
I kind of see a character of Joel as well, a little bit in the Hugh Jackman character.
What, from The Last of Us?
Yeah. The video game Joel.
Yeah.
Like,
a little bit.
And it's also a movie about, what was my thing? See, like, torture is bad. First of all, torture is bad.
Yeah,
when
it's
the Hugh
evil.
Jackman character tortured, like, Paul character.
He tortures him.
It tortures him, yeah. It's like, torture is the worst way to get information from somebody.
It's the best. Basically, is if you want someone,
It's the best way to get information.
false information.
It's the best way to get information, wrong or right.
Yeah, because generally speaking,
Because if you torture somebody
they're going to tell you what you want to hear.
and ask me, just telling me, do you do it? If you torture him long enough,
He's gonna say
even
yes.
if he didn't do it,
That's why-
he will tell you yes.
That's why confessions under torture are inadmissible in any court, because they can't be relied upon, and for good
No.
fucking reason.
Because I'm going to tell, just for you to stop, like, pulling out my teeth, I'm going to tell you that I killed her, you know, like, or something like that, you know? Just please stop pulling my
Exactly.
teeth out.
Yeah, exactly. That's what used to happen in the UK quite a lot way back in the day. They had to reform. Well, they're always reforming the fucking police back in the UK, mostly because they're a bit corrupt. But yeah, there used to be a whole thing with, like, British police officers where, like, you know, now that they've taken after the Americans, where you can't, you know, police can't question you without a solicitor being there. They can't question you without it being recorded, and without it being recorded by video and by tape, literally by tape. I have experience in this, unfortunately. And what else? Yeah, you know, there's all these procedures in place to, you know, where, like, you can't be led astray. What they do is they tend to do it more. In more higher profile cases, they tend to do a lot more psychological stuff. You know, try and trip you up, trying to trying to unwind
Or keep you in a room for a long period of time, like, you know.
Yeah, but you can't use sensory deprivation, because that's also torture. You know, but yeah, it's all very. But anyway, getting off the point a little bit. But the fact that Hugh Jackman basically went in, like, and yanked your man off the street, put him in a little hideaway.
To be fair, like, he has, like, pretty big clue, like.
Yeah, no, yeah, he has a pretty
Like,
big
when
clue.
he was, like, waiting for him outside the door, the guy, like, was literally torturing the dog.
Oh yeah,
and singing the song that they were just singing before they got kidnapped.
Yeah.
That will.
And he turned, when he tried to assault him outside the police, because they arrested him, they brought him out in front of the
Did
police.
he say that? Did he really say that?
Yeah, he did. He turned around to him and said they were fine when I saw them last, or something like that. Or they
No,
cried.
did
They cried when I left, or something along those lines.
No, they didn't cry, or something. They didn't cry when I left, or something. Like
Until I left, or something like that. Something along those lines. But yeah, you know, he definitely awareness of what was going on. It's not like he was completely innocent, but there was this kind of really strong, like, the conviction on Hugh Jackman's character that he could somehow beat the information out of Paul Dano's characters, obviously misguided.
Squeeze it.
Yeah.
He squeezed the information out of him.
Yeah, and even then he didn't get the information he was after.
He got the maze clue later on in the movie.
Yeah, very much later on in the movie. Do you know what I mean? By that time, by the time, like, he got down there, he was trying to be a bit too clever for his own good, and then ended up getting fucking thrown down a hole by a little old lady. But in fairness, she was do you know what? That turn on her part. And what's the next?
I know she had a gun under the. At that point, everybody knew who was it.
Which actress?
Look, she's there.
Oh yeah, Melissa Leo. She was a fucking. That
Also
her
the
performance was
makeup thing. She's older in the movie than she is in real life.
Yeah, but the thing is like that the actual performance there though, because she was very understated and very sad, and you could tell the way she was like looking up.
Oh, she played the innocent card very well.
Oh, brilliantly! And when she got made, no fucking about. The gun was already on Hugh Jackman.
Oh, no, it was at the door. At the door, the gun was there. I saw it with my hand,
Oh yeah.
The gun was. I knew that there was a gun there.
Yeah. But the fact is, she was prepared. She knew what was going on, and then she comes in after she captures him and throws him down. I managed to persuade him through drug inducement and a shot to the leg to get down the hole. She goes back in, looks at his bag, and finds out he's got a gun in there himself.
Yeah.
So he was preparing to shoot her or you know. So that was all very interesting, but. Yeah, her turn.
And of course, when the cops arrived, she saw she couldn't hide the things forever.
Yeah.
So she had to kill she tried to kill poisoned the daughter. So basically, yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
And also, she has 2 vial. She was going to take the second one as well, I think.
Oh, good spot.
Yeah, there's 2 vial of poison.
Because she didn't want to be. She was because she was going to catch it.
She was ready to die. Basically, yeah. I think there was 2 vial. I'm unsure. I noticed 2 vial.
No, you're right. There was 2 vials. No, you're bang on. I thought she was going in for a double dose, but no. That's a good spot on your part.
Maybe she went for a double dose to kill her. To be fair.
Maybe it could be either or. Do you know what I mean? Either way. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So. Because she even turned around to him and said, I hope you live long enough. She throws him down the hole after shooting him and goes, maybe you could make a tourniquet to bandage up that wound. Maybe you'll last 24 hours. Hopefully you'll live long enough to see me throw your daughter's corpse down the hole to you.
Yeah, very mean.
That's fucking dark. Mm-hmm. That is incredibly dark. Yeah, it's a very, would you go as far as to say it's a disturbing film? Or just a very dark one?
It's a dark film, not disturbing. It's not disgusting, disturbing, or...
psychologically, maybe though.
Psychologically disturbing, yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's definitely got a definite sense of unease. I never. It's also like it's like one of those.
There's no except violence committed to the.
There's flashes of violence.
The only violence committed are committed by the good guy. The only violence in the script are committed by the good guy.
Aside from when she shoots your man in the leg, that's an act of violence.
That's an act of violence. Yeah, but it's not graphic violence. It's not like.
She just shoots him in the leg.
None in the movie we see like.
He shoots him in the leg. Like that would be painful.
Basically, you never see a body. You never see. You see snakes in the box. You see like.
God bless you.
Sorry about that. You see those mannequin with the head smashes in the apartment of the other fella. Did we see again in a Nolan movie? He was in Inception as well. David
Dasmalchian.
Yeah, Dasmalchian. I don't know.
Is that French?
Mm-hmm. Dasmalchian. No, it's probably it's not French.
Oh, okay. But no, he was actually really good in it because I think he was a good kind of curveball.
Yeah, he was like the
Because he kind of because at one point you think because when he kind of is introduced to the story,
he was giving he was giving the thing to the he was leaving a toy for remember. How did the character of the inspector got that? Like, how did he like?
Yeah, this is what I think is like. This is where the kind of the tropes come in. It's like
this feeling.
Yeah, this kind of preternatural.
Also, he was running away. That's a pretty big clue. That's the guy who's involved in something.
No, but he only ran away after Jake Gyllenhaal's character twigged him. When Detective Loki twigged him.
And also is the thing why he would run away. It. Look, when the character of Hugh Jackman said why he would run away if he did nothing.
Exactly. Yeah. That's a good point.
And the other character, the character of the other character that's being the clue. Why did he run away if he did nothing? If he knew nothing?
Yeah, that's the thing. But also that kind, in a way though. that kind of leads to lazy thinking because you got to bear in mind, in real life, if you're under threat, if your life is under threat,
like what happened in Paris, not Paris, what happened in France, the kid was under threat. with the cops like menacing to shoot him,
Yeah.
and he tried to run away and got shot. Like it was 17. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. That's why everything kicked off in France, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it still kicking off there?
Yeah, it's looking up. Yeah.
Yeah. But that's the thing, though. I mean, like, it's that kind of lazy thinking, like, and unfortunately, I think cinema does kind of lean into it. It's like, yeah, why would you run away if you've got nothing to do with it?
It's also like it's also been. I think there's something like that as well in movies. Like the guy's running away, but he's running away because he was scared, or
fight or flight. It's called fight or flight for a reason.
Or otherwise, it was maybe he was guilty of something, but he had nothing to do with the thing that they were looking for.
Yeah. Well, if someone points a fucking gun at you,
no, he didn't put a gun at you. Just look at him.
What, are we talking about the movie or talking about the
accident? Like, yeah, of course, if you're pointing a gun at a young 17 kid who doesn't know what to do at some point, if there's no way out, he's just going to... If he cannot talk his way out of this, and you think he's going to get a bullet, he's going to try to run away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stands to reason. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, I think cinema does... It's like... A lot of cinematic tropes really don't help out in real life. It's like, for instance, like another one, what was it? I had one in
this
mind.
trope is being played sometime in movies, like, you see like the guy run away, but why did you run away? Because you were chasing me.
Yeah,
because like he was dealing weed, nothing to do with the murder, but he was dealing weed or stuff like that,
Yeah, that happened. Boys in the Hood.
Yeah, Boys in the Hood.
Yeah, Snoop Dogg. It was when Snoop Dogg ran away from the place. Was it Boys in the Hood?
I think it is. No, First Day in the Hood or stuff like that, or Training Day.
Training Day. That's the one. Yes, it was Training Day. You're right. It was Training Day.
No, he was running because he knew the cops.
Yeah,
he knew that
he knew the cops and he was dealing weed.
And the cops because he knew that cop that was that bad.
Because Denzel Washington in that movie, fuck my life, he's brilliant in that film. We got to do that. You got to do Training Day at some point.
Oh, we did already. We did watch the Training Day.
Yeah, I know for the podcast though.
I think we need somebody who didn't watch Training Day.
Okay, we're currently
we're hiring people who didn't watch a lot of movies.
Well, no, we're not hiring people. We're asking people if they'd like to come to be part of the podcast because we don't have any fucking money to hire people. Are you joking?
We need you to come to the podcast and talk about movies, watch movies and talk about it.
Yeah, Roman.
Okay. What?
Don't make our jobs any more difficult than they already are. All right, okay. There may be guests on at some point. We may bring other people on that we know that we think it might be an interest.
It's always interesting if one of us didn't watch the movie.
Yeah, I think so. But also sometimes it's good to revisit a movie sometime later and reevaluate exactly your thoughts on it.
That's what happened with Blade Runner, and I did change my mind about the movie a little bit. Do you know?
Blade Runner 2049. So yeah, I don't think it's necessarily about. If we've both seen it, so what? I mean, at some point it might be good. Good to have a conversation.
We don't want anybody else involved in the thing.
Yeah, don't send your emails because they will be ignored.
All emails will be ignored.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, in all seriousness,
but gifts will be appreciated. A subscription would be appreciated.
Oh yeah, do subscribe.
Yeah, please subscribe.
No, do subscribe. Just don't email.
Just like stop watching the video, subscribe, and leave a comment. I don't know.
Is that how they do these things?
That's how they do in the classic YouTube game,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like, share, and subscribe. Yeah. Let's get away from that. But yeah, like the I kind of. What was I? We were talking about tropes. Yeah, we're talking about how tropes don't necessarily kind of backfire in real life. It's like, for instance, like CPR, for instance. Like CPR doesn't necessarily like resuscitate someone. It basically keeps the blood pumping throughout the system, so long enough for like a real help to arrive.
Stop for the person like being brain dead.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, all it does is just keeps the blood circulating long enough. If you do it properly, I mean, and thankfully you don't need to blow into people's mouths anymore because apparently they decided that was a bit stupid. But
blow into people's mouth,
yeah,
and then just keep.
It's just like
pressure,
just putting pressure on the heart. That's what it needs to do, just to keep blood circulating
until the somebody can like replace you or do like
basically keep it rotating. You keep
until emergency arrive.
Yeah, exactly. Until emergency services arrive and they're able to do something about it. But yeah, it's just like there's lots of these silly. Or another one would be like silencers on guns.
What is silence? Silencers on gun in cinema.
Yeah, exactly. Pew pew pew. Complete trope.
Exactly.
Oh,
that's an old French movie, and it was one of the first movie with they showed silencer in the in cinema.
Yeah.
And the silencer, because they didn't know what silencer would make sound like, or didn't know how to pre-make the movie silencer. Pew pew. They just like make the sound like thum thum. thum thum. That's the French silencer for you. Thum thum.
Yeah, that's the thing. They're not silencers, they're suppressors. Yes, they quieten. They slightly reduce the level of noise, but they don't eliminate it altogether.
I was going to get my phone to make you listen one of the French. Do not if I'm doing it.
Yeah, your phone's there recording.
I know.
There, dude.
I'll just put the sound effect of the what I'm talking about. It's a very funny sound, do you know? And it's a very serious movie about like gangsters stuff like that. But when they shoot, like thump 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 thump.
All right, then that's something you guys will look forward to. You'll be able to. We'll leave a space here.
There you go.
There you go.
That was the,
so
the
that's what the
that was the French silencer.
Yeah, that was a French silencer. So
thank you, Roman.
You can thank us for expanding your knowledge of French cinema.
Maybe I can use it as like censor thing. Every time somebody do a swear word, it was just like thump.
Mate, with me, you might as well have your finger on the ready, mate. You might as well like hit the button there every time I fucking swear.
Like this, yeah.
Yeah, good luck with that.
You can see when people are just starting swearing, just like direct like censorship.
Yeah, I mean, but yeah, I mean, get back to the movie though. Like,
yeah, sorry.
No, that's all right. That's all right. You know, tangents tends to happen in conversations. You know. But yeah, I really like this movie. I think it's pretty good. Generally speaking, like I said earlier on, I think the scores I think my score of like high 7s, low 8s is, you know.
I think it's one of the movie. I think it's one of the movies that doesn't deserve a score or something like that. You know, it's a pretty well told story.
Yeah, no, it's I'd say it's a very good kind of engaging mystery movie thriller sort of thing. Mm-hmm. You know, it does keep your interest. It does keep you hooked. It does kind of, you know, the mystery unravels as it should unravel. It's not like, again, it doesn't throw in, while it does throw in like one or two little red herrings, it doesn't do it to the point of annoyance. It doesn't think it's too clever for its own fucking good.
A bit like Zodiac. I found Zodiac a bit too long.
Yeah, I mean, it's not one of David Fincher's best movies. But you know, I quite like this movie.
Also, Zodiac, there was so many threads. There's so many characters you're following, I think.
What, in Zodiac?
In Zodiac, how many characters are you following in Zodiac? You're following Mark Ruffalo character?
Yeah, Mark Ruffalo and Jack Gyllenhaal, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Isn't Robert Downey Jr. in that as well?
Yeah, but it was just a character. You never follow him as a character.
Right.
He was one of the other side character.
Right. But yeah, there's like, I don't know. I mean, we probably need to rewatch it.
Yeah, maybe like
I probably need
two thread. Like this movie has two thread.
There's
the father and there's the detective.
Yeah,
you follow those two thread.
Yeah, it's just like, yeah. I mean, like, and yeah, yeah. So I'd say like I said, Jack Gyllenhaal's more the audience through line. He's the point POV from the audience, and
it does remind this movie. Does remind me a bit of, because it's the same kind of a type of movie. To be fair, Gone Girl.
Yeah, I'd say Gone Girl's kind of superior though. I'd say it's a better film.
As a film, like
it's a much better. That is a very good David Fincher film.
It was David Fincher. Gone Girl?
Yes, it was.
Very good movie. Yeah.
Very, 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 very good film.
Yeah, very good film.
But yeah, like yeah, it's good for what it is. I mean, don't get me wrong, it does hold your attention. It's not like, look, it's not going to break any fucking molds or anything like that. I mean,
like it's a bit like the road to
Road to Perdition.
Yeah, like it's not going to break anything, but it's a well-made movie.
Yeah, and also like the fact that this is the film that kind of brought awareness to Denis Villeneuve, and you know, he went on to make
his mainstream movie. Like,
yeah, I mean, he made a load of stuff before. We kind of looked into it, but like, yeah, the fact that this guy went on to make the likes of Dune and Blade Runner and Sicario, and he's doing Dune 2.
Yeah.
So like the guy's clearly got like serious chops now.
Sicario as well.
Yeah, Sicario's a fantastic film.
Yeah.
So like, so you know, the guy's clearly got chops. I mean, he's probably got another 20 years ahead of him of making like top tier movies at the top. As long as the strikes and don't impact things too much. And I've got to say, in terms of the strikes, because I do believe they're still going on at the moment. At the time of recording on the 19th of July, 2023, I'm in support of them. I think, you know, they've got every right to go on strike.
He hasn't. It didn't mean, in my opinion, it didn't make any bad movies yet.
I don't think so. No, I think it's either like, I'd say this is like a very solid film. You know, you can watch it, you can enjoy it. It's, you know, not going to set the world alight, but at the same time, like that was probably that was a kick-off point for a lot of his later films.
Arrival and
Arrival probably kind of
Blade Runners.
I'd say like the likes of Blade Runner raised his Blade Runner
was it Blockbuster? Was his first blockbuster?
Yeah, that was his first blockbuster. It unfortunately didn't make any money, but which I think is a crying shame because I think it's a fucking great film. But
visually beautiful.
Oh, gorgeous film. Dune's also fantastic, and luckily that made money so they could carry on making them, and hopefully they are able to keep making them. Be interested to see. But also, you got to bear in mind, also this film. I mean, again, I know I go on about budgets all the time on this program.
But it's important. Like it
is important. $46 million. The film ended up making $122 million worldwide, so it basically made about 3 times its budget back.
That's good.
That's pretty fucking good. Do you know what I mean? So that's the thing. Is like, if you spend $350 million and you make $700 million, that's double your budget back. And even then, you're not clearing even then, you're not making profit, which is ridiculous. Like, look, the best thing to do, invariably, give people a fucking budget, let them work to that budget, and let them create something fucking good for it and something that's entertaining. All right, not every film has to fucking like be groundbreaking or anything. Like I said, this is a really good, solid movie. I really enjoyed it. I think Denis Villeneuve done fantastically well with it. And not only that, I mean, you've still got major stars in it. Jake Gyllenhaal, you got Hugh Jackman. Hugh Jackman at the time was still Wolverine. Do you know what I mean? So like, he was still probably at the height of his fame, if anything.
2013.
Yeah, 2013. Because like
we can see his cinematography there.
Right, Hugh Jackman.
Maybe he was doing. One was the Prestige release.
Oh, the Prestige! What a fucking film that is.
So we see 2000.
Logan came out in 2017.
So
that was his last movie as Wolverine until Deadpool 3. Mm-hmm. So that came out 4 years before Logan. That was his last movie as Wolverine. So this was still him at the height of his powers.
Can you see his entire filmography?
It's a bit all over the place.
To be fair, that's fine. Okay.
On a second, there's a lot.
There is a lot.
There is a lot.
We're 2018.
He's been around a while.
Yeah, it's fine. It's not important.
Yeah, but yeah, like So yeah, you had Hugh Jackman pretty much at the height of his powers. You got Jake Gyllenhaal, Viola Davis before she became more well known from the likes of Suicide Squad. This is after the first Iron Man movie where Terrence Howard was in. Mm-hmm. Go away, IMDb. So yeah, I mean, generally, Paul Dano as well. Paul Dano. I mean, There Will Be Blood came out, I think, in 2010. So yeah, I mean, it's got a pretty bloody strong cast, and again, they're not having this. I mean, $46 million for a movie production is not that much.
No.
Even then, So like, please, Hollywood, just cop the fuck on. Just make good movies, please. That we can.
No. Just it's like make good movies, yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
But make more movies for more people, for more taste. Not everything has to be a fucking superhero movie.
Yeah, not everything has to be like a remake of
a remake.
A remake of already well-working movie just to get more money out of it.
Yeah.
Or superhero movie because that's the only thing that works.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, like,
but at some point it won't work. It won't work anymore. But it's all the audience stop giving a shit about it, or what's happening right now. The writer
Well, the writers and the actors are going on strike. I mean, who knows? The directors might join them as well. I mean, the fact of the matter is, also Hollywood, instead of fucking paying $300 million and like fucking people around for a movie, why not just fucking just make good films and pay people properly? Do you know what I mean?
They're making too much money out of it.
But are they though? They're hemorrhaging money. Disney Plus is fucking on its arse. Do you know what I mean? The only reason why I still have a fucking Disney Plus account is because of us doing this podcast. If it weren't for that, I'd sack it off. I really would. Netflix, I can take it or leave it. This is the thing. Is like what a lot of people tend to do.
People don't like streaming media. They hate
No. I'd say what it is. Like once upon a time, look, when Netflix was the only game in town, right? Yeah. And everything was under one.
It was convenient.
Yeah, it was convenient. It was like, okay, then I can watch any TV show, I can watch any movie. Within a few months, it'll be on streaming. I can then watch it. It was convenient back then, but it's only because there's so many so many services looking to fucking nickel and dime audiences, offering different fucking pay categories for if you want to maintain no ads. Now you got to fucking you've got the cheaper option, and if you want to maintain no ads, then you've got to pay the premium or whatever. You know, there's all this bullshit going on with streaming now to the point where it's just like, what was
and you're
the
already
fucking
paying.
difference?
You have ads and you're already paying.
Exactly. It's like the worst of both worlds. Do you know what I mean? You might as well just go back to fucking...
Usually when you go premium and no, when you buy a product and you give money to it, you shouldn't have ads to it.
Yeah, but this is the problem with subscription services. Is like me and you have this discussion all the time. Like, because I edit with Premiere Pro and you've just got Final Cut.
Yeah.
Right, and I can see the arguments for both. The only reason why I'm using I use Adobe because I'm familiar with it, but you know the fact that I've got to pay like 30 odd euros every month is a bitter pill to swallow.
For every year that you have it. Me, I just paid for 1 year.
Yeah. So basically, you bought the software. I'm renting the software. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? So like, there is that kind of bullshittery that goes on, and I think for the most part, I think there's so many. Everything's a fucking subscription. Like when you think about it, it's not even just like Adobe or streaming services. It's like if you want different types of software, you got to pay a subscription for it. You know, Final Cut on the iPad. Do you know what that is? It's a fucking subscription. You pay $5 a month.
It's not like you buy it and it's over.
No,
that's bullshit.
Whereas Final Cut on the Mac, you buy it, it's done.
Yeah.
It's like with the art program that I use Procreate. If you watch this channel, you'll obviously know that with John Stark Art. I use Procreate.
You buy it once.
You buy it once. That's it. But I've also used because of my access to the subscription plan. I've also used Adobe Fresco. Good fucking program. But you know, paying subscriptions. So like, there's this kind of. I mean, I think at some point the subscription model is going to fall on its ass.
No.
You don't think so?
No, I don't think so. No.
I think it will, mate. There's only so many subscriptions you can maintain. There's only so many fucking, like, you know, whether it's Paramount. Who watches Paramount fucking Plus? Who watches Peacock? Who watches any of these? Do you know what I mean? Mm. Who watches them? Nobody. Do you know what I mean? So, like, unless you're a fucking Star Trek fan, why would you watch fucking Paramount? Or Transformers fan, because that's Paramount as well. So I don't know. I just think the whole fucking thing. You know, I don't see it being sustainable long term. Like Disney's hemorrhaging money because of the subscription model.
Do you think that video places will come back?
I don't know. I think at some point there's going to be some sort of like seismic shift. Like every now and again, because nothing stays the same in perpetuity.
Do you think we go back to like you know, like YouTube is doing this as well? Google is doing this instead of you can have most of the movies are on YouTube, Google and stuff like that, but you have to rent them. You rent it and then you can watch. Yeah, well, Apple TV does that as well. If you want to watch like basically an Avengers movie, with that money that you rent the movie, Google is paying the studio operative that on the thing, so they can basically have all the movies. Yeah. Because, for example, on YouTube you can rent Lord of the Ring. Yeah. Without paying a subscription to YouTube Premium. YouTube Premium. Without paying you can rent all 3 Lord of the Rings without going to subscribe to who's on Lord of the Ring now? Netflix? HBO, I think. HBO, yeah, or stuff like
Warner
HBO.
Brothers.
Warner Brothers, stuff like that. And having a streaming, and maybe they are there, and you have all those other movies. Now you can rent specific movie for a month, for example. Yeah, to be honest, that makes sense because, I think there's always going to be like a small niche where people will prefer to own their media. I mean, I used to be very much like that, but streaming is so bloody convenient. It's another music streaming. Music streaming, yeah, that's right. I have vinyls. I bought vinyls, but vinyls is stupid. You may as well buy CD. Like nobody's buying, for example, iTunes tune. Nobody's buying tunes on. Yeah, because iTunes doesn't exist anymore. It doesn't exist anymore? No, it's Apple Music. What happened to all the music that you just bought? In fairness, because I have an Apple Music account, so I can tell you exactly what happens. If you bought music on the iTunes days, you still have access to it, whether or not you paid a subscription or not. Until when? Well, until Apple goes bankrupt. I don't know. And that's, do we think that's likely to happen anytime soon with the $4 trillion valuation? Probably not. But yeah, so thankfully, you say what you want about Apple and Google. Google tends to change its mind every 2 fucking minutes. Do you know what I mean? Whether or not a product's going to try to jumping on the train that's already going.
It's not even that. It's like Google Glass. How long did that last? Fucking no time at all. Google Stadium.
But it was just like basically Apple is like creating product that they know is work. Google is experimenting. They're like,
yeah, but the thing is, like, more often than not, I mean, look, you look at fucking Google Stadia being a great example. This is supposed to revolutionise gaming. You know, you're gonna pay a subscription fee, and you're gonna play games via streaming.
Some people have to step first and fall, and for the other that look like, actually, I'm not going to do it like that. I'm going to do it differently.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I'm not.
For example, the first invention of the parachute. A guy was like, if you can bring it up, like the guy tried to prove like that's his invention. It was like a prototype of a parachute, the idea of a parachute thing, and jumped from the first stage of the Eiffel Tower with this concoction thing.
Did it work?
No, it didn't work. He died.
Of course not.
No.
Yeah, no, you are right. I mean, I'm not.
But like, did it stop people from making trying to make parachutes?
I'm not disagreeing with you, dude. I'm not having a fuck. Okay, point taken.
Point taken.
But no, in fairness, no, I'm not saying that isn't true. I'm not saying that's not the case. All I'm saying is that going back to Google Stadia, right? And Google do this all the time. Mm-hmm. It's not so much like, you know, they even when a product is successful, they'll fucking close it down.
Who's the guy who created the plane? Or the airplane?
The Wright brothers.
The Wright brothers. So sometimes you need to have an Icarus first before you get the Wright brothers.
In fairness, Icarus was about what 2,500 years ago,
yeah,
and that's Greek mythology.
It's the first, like, if you think it's the first people trying to fly.
I'll say people were trying to fly. I mean, look at this way. There's sketches from Leonardo da Vinci, like where they reckon he invented the fucking helicopter.
But at least Leonardo da Vinci didn't try his invention.
True.
Just like draw them.
I think he probably would have given it a go if he had the resources.
No, I think he's a smart dude. He said like, I'm gonna send like, what was his pupil? What was his pupil? Pupil. The guy who's always like doing drawings of and stuff like that. He had like a student or something like that, like an apprentice.
Yeah, maybe, probably.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay. But like, yeah, you will probably send somebody, pay somebody, a poor guy, to like, oh, just get the machine there and just jump off the cliff and the wheel should flap, hopefully.
Yeah, but the thing is, I don't think, from what I understand, I actually don't know too much about Leonardo da Vinci's biography, to be fair. But from what I do know of it, I don't think he actually died in incredibly wealthy. I think he was okay.
He died in France.
Yeah, I know he did. He painted the Mona Lisa in France. And that's why the Italians don't like the French, because you nicked Leonardo da Vinci and they want the Mona Lisa back, like, and you're not going to give it.
France give back so many things to the country they took the thing, and we're still waiting for England to bring back most of the Greek and Egyptian thing they stole.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fine, it's okay. But like, at least they have good museum.
I love the British Museum. It's brilliant.
At least they have good museum. Like, it's the
how else could like a poor, like, working class London boy like me from Irish parentage hope to ever see something like as magnificent as these Egyptian sculptures and these, like, the Elgin marbles and everything else? Do
you know what? In
fairness, I want to make this fucking point, right? With the Elgin marbles, right? It's not like he went into the Parthenon and lifted them in mint condition off the wall. He picked them up off the fucking floor. You know, the Parthenon was in pieces. It was falling to bits. The Greeks did nothing to look after it for about 2,000 fucking years.
What did England?
And now they're crying about it. Go fuck yourselves.
They didn't take care of it. Same for the Egyptian. They didn't care about the thing. It's only the European who was like. It's only the European who was interested by the pyramids.
And also, by the way, I mean, talking about nicking shit, wasn't it fucking Napoleon that nicked the Rosetta Stone?
No.
I know it's now in the British Museum, but it was Napoleon who nicked it. So go and fuck yourself, you hypocrite.
It was the French who discovered the Rosetta Stone and knew the knowledge that it was. It was decoded by a French archaeologist. And without him, we would have never understood, because the Rosetta Stone are like Greek, Egyptian, and another language.
No, it's Greek. It's Greek, Coptic, and hieroglyphs. That's how the hieroglyphs was discovered. That's why it's called the Rosetta Stone.
And that's how we know how to read hieroglyph.
Yeah,
it was a French discovery.
Yeah,
so we could have kept
that ended up in the British Museum.
And how? Because
the British nicked it off you.
When
I don't know. I don't actually know, to be honest. I just think it's funny.
We just want to know when was it nicked? When it was given? When it was given? Do you think it was given? Do you think it was taken?
I don't know.
I feel like it's been.
Do you know what I think it was? If I'm not mistaken, like I'm sure I'm wrong about this, but I think it had something to do with the Napoleonic Wars. You know,
it was.
You know, when you thought you could take over Europe and failed spectacularly.
No, but we didn't fail.
No,
it was pretty good. It was a pretty good start.
You didn't fail.
It was a pretty good start.
Mate, basically, you wrote Napoleon wrote the fucking the prescript for fucking Hitler. He fucking did, though. You think about it. Then crowned himself emperor after declaring himself a friend of the Republic. Bit of a hypocrite, wasn't he?
No, it was just a
fucking midget.
It was not that short. It was five. It was average. It was 5'6", something like that.
I know. It was French 5'7". I'm aware of all this, but you know what? I know it annoys French people, and you're French, so I know it annoys you.
I don't care about Napoleon.
You're doing a convincing job of convincing me.
Yeah, it was like I don't care. Do you know, like, tell what you want about like Churchill, or do you know, like all rules are basically piece of shit.
To be honest with you, as someone who's of Irish heritage, because I can play this card anytime I fucking like, right? As someone who's of Irish heritage, I've got Oliver Cromwell is a cunt. Churchill before World War II was a cunt. So yeah, I've got no love for so any of these like British like historical figures that you kind of want to pluck out of the hat. Yeah, fuck them.
You can, of course.
Fuck them.
Only good politician are dead politician.
Well,
only good-hearted politician are dead politician.
No, they don't exist, mate. They're like dragons and griffins and Harry Potter. They're figments of somebody's imagination.
If you want power, you just if you want power.
Absolute power corrupts. Absolutely.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
Yeah.
Anyway, should we go back to the movie?
Yeah, we should. It's been an hour now.
Has it? All right, should we round this out?
Yeah, we should round this out.
Okay.
We kind of go like through an hour limit, and like.
Well, we don't have a limit. I mean, like 1 hour is usually the guideline, isn't it? It's just like, okay, about an hour. If we go over it, we go over it. We've gone under it a couple of times too.
Yeah, I thought. Yeah.
You know, I mean, we were so disappointed by John Wick 3. We didn't make it past 45 minutes.
It was almost an hour, so it's fine. It's okay. It's the shortest one.
Yeah, it's the shortest one. Although, to be honest, the longest one's usually when I have something to rant about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, fair. Yeah. Like, yeah.
Well, I don't have anything really to be honest, I don't think that I've got anything genuinely to rant about this movie. I think in terms of like, this is kind of the Hollywood product doing it what it should be doing, really. I think.
And maybe there's a bit of tropes and stuff like that.
Yeah, of course there is. I mean, you can pick holes in anything.
It's a style. The murder mystery or the Polar thing, it's a style. It's a style. And it's hard. I think it's hard to flip the thing around and stuff like that and say that, Hugh Jackman character, at some point I thought the Duke
he was a bad guy at the end.
He was a bad guy. So like he went crazy or stuff like that. I thought you were going to put the crazy card. Like he kidnapped his own daughter.
Yeah, actually,
because of the jacket. You see the jacket when she one of the girls tried to get out.
Yeah.
And the jacket thing, also his body was a bit like different. And I thought it was I think maybe it was
Hugh Jackman.
Hugh Jackman, the character, who did the flashback thing to make you think that maybe it was him.
Yeah.
Because you can see the figure is like a big masculine, like, you know.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
I mean, Hugh Jackman's a big fucking dude. He's a big burly dude, isn't he? Mm-hmm. Which I find funny because.
I thought that the flashback that the black girl was talking about. I thought I saw Hugh Jackman.
Yeah, well, it was him because he went around to talk to her first. Do you remember the first time we went around to talk to her? So she probably saw him when he came around to visit the first time round.
Oh, did she saw him?
Yeah, I think so. That's why she was like freaked out when he started. You know, when she woke up and saw him. You were there. So for that.
Oh.
Yeah.
You were there.
Yeah, that's what she said to him.
That's the biggest clue, like.
Yeah, So at that point, I was like, "Oh Jesus, it's not fuck." Oh Jesus. But even then, like, do you know something? If they pulled that trick out, right?
The crazy card. The what's the name? The movie of in Iceland, Shutter Island.
Shutter Island. Yeah. Oh yeah, Shutter Island. Yeah, that was a bit stupid. And that was by Martin Scorsese as well. But I was thinking about more. Have you ever seen Now You See Me? The Magician's movie, and Mark Ruffalo's character turns out to be the one who was really the one helping him out all the way along. It was like, you lost me now. That film, at that point, that film just lost me. Mm-hmm. I mean, I thought it was like...
Never watched any of them?
Don't. They're brain dead. They're stupid. But yeah, in terms of like the quality of so yeah, if they played that card, I would have been like, fuck off, you lost me. But thankfully they didn't. But yeah, I just thought, I think basically but with this film anyway, I think it's just genuinely like, when a film does what it should do, which is like entertain and tell a good story and pluck at the old heartstrings and whatever else, I think, then it's doing what it should be doing. It's when I think, it's just like, there should be more of this. There should be it's not so much like more of this type of film, but more different types of film in general being released, so there's something for everyone. Not singular films that have to appeal to everybody, because that's just fucking stupid.
Is it a different movie from anything that you've seen, any Polo that you've seen? Is it a different one?
No, I'm not saying, no, it's not so much it's different as in, is it revolutionary? Have I ever seen anything like this before? It's not that. But it's just more that, all right, and rather than spending fucking 300 million on a fucking film like they did with Indiana Jones and fucking failed miserably, why not make like a movie like, different types of movies? Peel back the amount of money you're investing, spread it out over different types, not just different movies, but different types of movies. You could use that same money to appeal to a broader audience, either by funneling it all into one like 4-sector blockbuster.
In that case, we'd never have Dune, for example.
No, but again, I'm not saying like you can't like. Again,
you cannot remake. Remake something new.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying you can't spend big money every now and again, but I don't think it has to be the first resort. I just think what you need to do is like, you need to kind of be more smart about your resources. Like do loads of, just almost like a pyramid. Like have like 4 or 5 big blockbusters a year, right? Say you've got like $1 billion or $1.5 billion to invest in blockbusters, right? Take that $1.5 billion, and then you've got another $1.5 billion to invest in other movies. Do you know what I mean? Just kind of spread it out a bit more. Stop putting all your eggs into one basket and then expecting it to fucking work every single time, because it fucking won't. And that's how like studios get bankrupt.
It was always the case. It was always like that.
Yeah, I know, because people are people, and history repeats itself and all that sort of bollocks. Do you know what I mean? Look, as a species, we've done wonderful things. We've put men on the moon. We've cracked. We've figured out DNA. We've done all kinds of nutty, incredible things.
We made the Matrix movie.
The Matrix movie was fucking fantastic. So yeah, we made the Matrix. We've done all these. We've done lots of fucking amazing things. But I just think But I think we're the least dumb monkey, unfortunately. We do have a habit of repeating ourselves and making the same stupid mistakes over and over again.
Do you think that the higher civilization don't make stupid movie or bad movies?
I don't know. Look, at the end of the day, it's what the fact that our culture is what it is. Do you know what I mean? Like, but it's just like we just don't learn from our own fucking mistakes. I mean, this is why like Napoleon, then you got Hitler, now you got Putin. One singular person in charge of a huge army, thinks he can do what he fucking likes, ends up making an absolute fucking dick of himself. Napoleon did it twice. Hitler did it, put a bullet in his brain. Putin's doing it. We're going to figure out what's going to happen to him. But, generally speaking, it doesn't fucking work. Why fuckers keep making these same mistakes? I don't know. But when it comes down to Hollywood, in the last 10 years, they're clearly capable of making good movies. Are
you comparing Hollywood as Putin?
In a very general sense, not in an apples to apples comparison, but I'm just saying, like, learning from, like, making the same mistakes over and over again. These things, like, history goes in cycles.
The thing is, like, a lot of money is running through Hollywood right now, and they like that money. They like that the money is power, and basically they try to keep the power to themselves, like, basically. Yeah,
but I don't think so the problem is, though, right? Because you've got to go to investors, right? And you've got to show your investors and your shareholders that you're making regular.
They don't care if you make a good movie or not.
No,
they don't
no.
care. The investors don't care if it's a good movie.
Can I finish my point?
Yeah, go on.
All right. You got to go up to your shareholders, all right, and your investors, and say every quarter that we're making more money than we did the previous quarter, right? And that's where these fucking mistakes happen, because what they've got to do is they've got to fucking, in their minds, they've got to invest more money in order to get more money back. The problem is they think, okay, we'll invest more money in one product. We'll put it all in, we'll back one horse. And sometimes it comes in, like Avengers Endgame or Avatar.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, right, yeah.
But what are you pointing at?
I was looking at the iPhone. Like,
the iPhone. Yeah,
the first iPhone kind of created. We put all our money into this. Like, yeah.
Well, they didn't really, because they made a load of money from the iPod. Do you know what I mean? That basically rescued them. And the Macs were kind of like doing whatever Macs do. I mean, we use Macs, but still. But back then, it was a lot more of a niche than it is now. And but what they did was they kind of came out the gate swinging. They came out with the iPhone. Yeah, that's a very good point. Like, product is product at the end of the day. But the problem is now, like, Apple's expected to come up with these new revolutionary products each and every time. And have they done it really since the iPhone? No. They came out with the Apple Watch. That's not really. I mean, I had an Apple Watch for a little while, but I lost it. That wasn't really a revolutionary
There's
product.
Google Glass thing now.
Well, Google Glass is dead, but the Apple Vision.
The Apple Vision. Sorry,
the Apple
I call
Vision.
it Google Glass, but like.
Yeah, but that's like they're looking for $3,500 for that.
People are going to buy it.
Yeah, but not everybody. Look at it this way: are you going to be able? Is it going to be as readily accessible to people as the iPhone was? I don't think it is.
It's not meant to be.
Maybe so. Yeah, okay, maybe not. But it's not. It's definitely not the new. I don't think it's the big revolution that Apple necessarily anticipating is, because every other company that's involved in virtual reality,
I think it
isn't making gangbusters money
by Apple entering the VR markets is going to, like, basically
make it more socially acceptable.
It's official.
I don't think so.
You think? Okay.
I don't think so.
I think it's a trend. My Apple is a trend thing. You know, like when they remove, when they stop.
Yeah, when they remove fucking.
Like they stop, like they're removing like the Mac Jack, and everybody was making fun of them. It's like, oh, you should. We're talking about Apple now. So
I know. Tangents.
But like, they're making fun of Apple because.
I can't say anything because I've got a pair of AirPods Pro. He's got a new pair, and he's got a pair of fucking AirPods free. How many pairs of AirPods have you got? You got 2. I've got 1. So. Look, we can't say nothing. We've bought these products.
I bought the cheap one, and I realized I regret it, and I bought the expensive one.
All right. Well, I just bought the expensive
one.
Anyway,
like, it's fine. It was nothing to do with the movie. Really.
I know. Okay. Yeah. The point. Okay. The point I was making before we went off.
Sorry about that.
Well, you apologise. Look, it's the nature of conversation. Tangents happen. It's perfectly fine. To be fair. But yeah, the thing is, like, the point, like. The fact is, like, if you don't have to spend all your money in fucking one place, you don't have to, like, try and. This is what I think why audiences get fucking pissed off, because, like, you know, oh right, another fucking bit. Not only that, you got to bear in mind, like, cinema ticket prices have gone up and up and up as well. Like, if you're a mum and dad and you're taking your kids out to the cinema, right? How much is that going to cost you now? You know, is it going to cost you 50 quid? Is it going to cost you 20 quid? No.
It's 12 euro now.
It's going to cost you, like, if you factor in your travel, if you factor in your concessions, you're probably looking at about $120, $130, pounds or euros.
And people are watching movies at home because it's convenient.
Exactly. I mean, look, what did we do? Right, instead of going to a concession stand in a fucking cinema, we went and got a couple of bags, you know, some snacks, we got some drinks. We sat down, we watched the movie.
We pause whenever we want. When we want to go to a pee, we can pause.
Exactly.
We can, like, stop the movie watching later tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like, the cinema is there's a lot of constraint.
Yeah.
You know?
Don't get me wrong. Like, I think what it is, like, you know, I think studios thinking, oh yeah, audiences want a big flashy experiences, which is why they put all their resources into CGI. But the problem is, the CGI isn't like, this isn't 1994 again. You know, when Jurassic Park first came out. You know, the CGI itself isn't going to be the draw.
No.
And now that we're kind of, I think. Well, I don't believe in superhero fatigue. I think we are coming to the end of the superhero, you know, comic book era. I think it is on the way. I don't think superhero films will ever end any more than Western movies ever ended.
No,
but I think they are going to taper off and become a little bit more less in the public zeitgeist as much as they were in the last, say, 10 years. And I think, like, movie studios are eventually going to cop on and fucking, you know, wind back their budgets on it, because they are a fucking. And not only that, if less people are going to the cinema and cinema prices are getting more expensive, and people, again, when it comes to streaming, like, if you can stream for a month, watch what you want, then just stop, you know, cancel your subscription.
But if the writer crisis right now win, do they up the price of the ticket as well? Are they going to up the price of the ticket?
I don't know. This is the thing, is I know we're living in a time of inflation and everything else, But the big problem I think at the moment is that, is this sustainable? Is it because you bear in mind you're entirely reliant on the working class and the middle class, right, to go watch your movies.
All cinema should be like library, public owned, not public owned. Like,
I don't know because they'll be then badly run.
it would be badly run. Yeah.
Yeah, and they'll be basically you'll have to jump through fucking several different hoops, and they'll only allow certain types of movies because we can't corrupt the kids. I don't know, man. There's enough government regulation involved in like the making creativity. I don't necessarily think it's a great idea. I don't know, man. I don't know if there is any easy answer for it, but I think movie studios need to kind of lead the way a little bit and stop fucking wasting money on the likes of Indiana Jones 5. Create new products because at the end of the day, like,
ask writer to do something new. Like, yeah.
Yeah, like create new characters, create new stories, get more. Like, if like the reason why Star Wars works is because Star Wars got hold of a generation, and that generation then passed that love down onto their kids, and then their kids, and they, now everyone's disappointed. But yeah, I mean, that's why Star Wars worked in the first instance, because it was something that was a little bit new. Like Harry Potter. I mean, when Harry Potter, started getting big in the 90s in the books, and then they decided, oh, wait a minute, this property is really popular. So Warner Brothers came in and they spent a bunch of money on it.
And now it's HBO.
And now it's, it's still Warner Brothers, but the streaming service is HBO, but now it's called Go.
No, the HBO is like doing a new Harry Potter series as well.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, they are, yeah.
Wonderful. But yeah, that's the thing though, is like, Warner Brothers are basically hanging on the coattails of fucking Harry Potter and DC. Marvel are hanging on the coattails of fucking Marvel and Star Wars. HBO, of course, got Game of Thrones, which, disappointed everyone in the end, myself included.
Amazon is like holding to his Lord of the Ring.
Yeah, but apparently that sucks.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not a Tolkien fan, but from what I understand, it absolutely blows goes.
I'm not even interested to watch it.
I've got absolutely no desire to watch it whatsoever. I don't think I'll ever will. But yeah, I mean, that's the thing is, if you're spending all this money, you're putting your fucking and that's the thing though, is like, it seems like initially anyway, for the last couple of years until like, Disney started losing money, Netflix started losing money. That's why they started having to clamp down on people sharing their passwords. There's there's kind of this panic within the industry, is like where they're going to make money from, and a lot of it's of their own fucking doing. At the end of the day, like, yeah, history does repeat itself, but
how are we going to come out of this situation?
I think eventually what will probably happen is like,
are we going back to physical?
I don't know if we're going back to physical. I think, but I'll say what studios going to do, because their natural instinct is going to, if they're not making money, they've got to cut costs, and in terms of cutting,
first they're cutting costs out the employees.
Yeah, but also, I mean, the first way they can cut costs is like stop having these stupidly high budget movies.
Just go smaller.
Yeah, make more smaller movies rather than spending $3 or $4, $5 billion of investors' money on movies that aren't oh yeah, well this like Indiana Jones. How in the fuck can they justify spending $300 million on that movie? The last one came out over 10 years ago, didn't do very well.
But you know what? If it was a smaller budget, it could have been better. But the problem is, like, some actor doesn't know. For example, Harrison Ford, as I know the character, maybe the character was right. But then, if there is not a massive shake on the table, he won't do something. Fuck him. Make a new Indiana Jones. But you can make Indiana Jones without Harrison Ford.
No, but the thing is, what they could do, I mean, I think what they tried to do with this one is they tried to do it with Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. And they tried to do it this one. They tried to basically sign off Harrison Ford so they can bring someone else in to take over the role.
It was Shia LaBeouf
in the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, and it was some girl in this one. I can't remember her name. I'm not being disingenuous. I just can't remember her name. Because someone will be kind of like, oh yeah, you know her name, you just don't want to know because you're a fanboy or some sort of nonsense. You know how the comment section can be.
It's okay, John. Okay.
I know. My poor delicate heart.
Damn mean.
I know, right?
So mean.
How very dare they? But yeah, I just think stop piling money into these fucking stupidly expensive movies. Start spreading it out. Like, again, like getting back to Prisoners. Like, Prisoners is a movie that they spent $46 million on, and they got back $120+ million on. Right? They made money on it. And if you make loads of little movies like that, you'll make money.
Is it like?
But it's just not all the money.
It's like, yeah, it's 46 million. Sounds like a lot, but it's a small movie in Hollywood standard.
Yeah, it is.
In 2013.
Yeah. I mean, you think about it, $300 million, Indiana Jones, you can make this movie 6 times.
2013, what was released in 2013? Like, that was a big movie.
Well, Avengers was 2012. That was about $150 million. 120, 150, I think.
Yeah, so basically, yeah, there's a proof that, you can make a small movie.
And you can make money. And that's the thing. It's
well, the most rentable, like, I don't like that movie because it was a brilliant marketing, dart in the dark, like, Paranormal Activity.
Oh yeah, they spent no money and made all the fucking money in the world. Yeah, they did that with the Blair Witch Project in 1999.
Yeah,
like they spent, I think, was it $10,000 on that, and they made over 100 million back.
The fan footage era.
I hate those films. They're usually fucking uniformly garbage. But yeah, they made all the money. They made all the money. You know, they spent fuck all and they made all the money.
You don't need to have spend like 100 million to have a good movie.
Yeah. I mean, look at it this way. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of Joker.
Never watched it.
I have. I don't understand.
It's a way down all the way.
Well, to be honest with you, I mean, a lot of people loved that movie, and it made $1 billion on a budget of like 30. Right.
It was the first like small DC movie. Like,
yeah,
wow.
Yeah, and it made $1 billion back. I mean, I don't understand it for the life. I think that film's so fucking horrifically depressing.
It was a small scope.
Yeah,
it was not like flashy explosion and stuff like that. It was more like prisoners and stuff like that. It was like more psychological, like
and it made all the money in the world. So it can be done, lads. You can make $1 billion without spending $1 billion.
Just make better movies. Just pay your scenarists right, and here we go.
Like, look after your people. They'll provide you the product that you need to sell on, and you will make money. But the problem is, it's like movie studios want all the money in the world, and they've got these unrealistic expectations thanks to these stupid like these quarterly targets. Well, yeah, this quarter we made 200. We made $1 billion, and next quarter we want to make 1.1. Next quarter we make 1.3. It's just like more and more unrealistic.
Also, is a bit like the people's fault as well, like But like, I mean,
what do you mean the people? What do you mean?
But like the Marvel thing going on, like Well, to be fair, Marvel was good at the beginning.
It was good at the beginning. I can understand why people went to watch the movie. See, things I don't. What we should not do. We should not blame the audience.
Oh, okay, sorry.
All right, because at the end of the day, like these, at the end of the day, what it comes down to is if people go and watch a movie, and that's down to the marketing, and sometimes the marketing, generally speaking, they mislead their audience, they missell their product. Right, which I think is fucking bang out of order. Also, what do? They either reveal plot twists or they fucking show all the money shots to get people in.
Show all the jokes in.
Or all the jokes if it's a comedy. So basically, they ruin the film for people before they've ever gone to see it, which is stupid. Then you got all these fucking dickheads in suits sitting behind their calculators, trying to justify their jobs, saying that we need to earn more money. And then when those expectations aren't met, they'll cut costs. And where do they cut costs? The areas that they need, like for instance, writers, actors, directors, the people that actually need to make a quality product that are bringing people in the first place. They're the areas they cut, but they won't fucking put their own head on the chopping block. Like all these executives, like Bob Iger, he's come back into Disney, right? Apparently, he's gone about sacking 7,000 people. Yeah, he's walking away with over $20 million a year. How's that fucking right? They're not going to take the blame. Or if he gets sacked, he walks away with a fucking gigantic severance package. But like people working at Disney World, at a fucking Star Wars attraction that's not attracting anybody, they get sacked. There's no fucking salary. There's no fucking 3 years salary paid to them, is it?
No.
At $10 million a year. No, it's just like, here's your P45 off your trot. So I don't know. There's a lot of bullshit here. You could talk about the way Hollywood seems to run their business.
Capitalism.
Look, in terms of capitalism, it's not so much I've got an issue with capitalism. I've just got an issue with the way that capitalism is then incorporated. Do you know what I mean? I've got no issue with a company like putting out a great product and, you know, making all the money in the world. Fair fucking play. You know, if you're feeling out a genuine, if you're providing a service or a product that people want or people need, and you know you sell it at a fair price and enough people buy it that you make a stupid amount of money, you're right, fair play. But the problem is when Hollywood is not producing a quality product, yet they're spending stupid money. They're not putting their money in the. It's not so much they're backing the right horses. It's more they're not kind of like spread betting, if you like, to use a gambling analogy. You know, they're not spread betting. They're not fucking in. Well, okay, that if I put 20 million here, 20 million here, 20 million here, okay, them two, that one might not make any money. That one might make its money back, but that one could make over $200 million, make $200 million for us after everything's been taken away. So, and that then covers everything else that's going on. And then they still make a little bit of money that they can reinvest. That's what, you know, generally speaking, when Hollywood studios were at their best, that's what they were doing. But now they've just completely fucking. They're trying to be too clever for their own good. They're putting all their eggs in one basket. They're releasing shit films, and everyone's complaining. But there are examples, and many of them, and we've found enough of them. I think we're going to find more. Where, you know, when people get together and they make a good fucking movie, they're given their budget, they make the money. They give the budget, they make the movie, and the movie makes money. Then great. You should, you know, be happy with that and just keep doing that and you'll be fine. You know? But that's just my 2 cents.
Yeah. I think we should run this up now.
Okay, we'll have them round it actually. We should finish it up.
Yep.
Okay then. Everybody, thank you for, listening to me rant and rave and everything else. And, you know, me
just like going sideways all the time, yeah.
I mean, God love you for bearing with us.
Yeah, if you stay at the end, thank you. Thank you very much.
God bless your heart.
I know there's like this one person watching it in the end.
Hopefully.
Oh, that's so sad when I'm saying.
Well, in fairness, we've got at this current time we have 44 subscribers. I mean, we're not exactly what you call like the world's biggest podcast, though. But yeah, who knows? Maybe one day we'll get
Maybe
there,
one day. Maybe one day.
So anyway, like I said, thank you very much for taking part. We very much appreciate it.
Thank you.
So, and my name's been John Clare.
I've been Roman Prish.
This has been the Post Watch Post Mortem, and we'll see you guys next time.
Bye. Just recording now.